Welcome to another edition of What's New at Pathology Outlines. We've missed a couple weeks because we've been very busy, but we welcome you back. And let me first welcome all of the new people, whether they're residents or fellows or people who've just switched jobs in July. And I thought it'd be appropriate to talk about what we do and what we don't do. So we do publish, of course, a free online pathology textbook. We get a lot of questions from people using the comment feature or by emails or sometimes by telephone calls. We're happy to answer questions about how to use the website. You have questions about a particular feature, something seems to not be working, there's a typo. Those are all great questions. Sometimes people have ideas on what we can do to make the pathology profession better. So you have some thoughts about what can be done and you want our input. That's also fair game. But the things that we can't do are, and probably not coming from pathologists, but we have people who send us their pathology reports and their x-rays and say, tell me what to do about my particular case or my significant other. Obviously, we don't do patient consulting. We have pathologists who say, well, I'm writing a research paper and I need you to help me with it. And we can't do that either. Or people have a question. Well, could you tell me what percentage of cases this immunohistochemical stain is positive? And we can refer people to the website, but we don't have consultative ability on that either. So we're happy to help when we can. And if you ask us something that we can't do, we'll just tell you politely that we can't do it. We recently had our first chat with Nat, and we got a couple people participating, and we got some good ideas. And Nat is posted on our YouTube channel. If you go to the header, we have a bunch of icons, and the one on the right is for YouTube. You click on that, and that takes you to our YouTube channel, and you could see the first chat with Nat. I think in the future, we're always trying to learn from our experience. The next one might be focused on a particular issue that people have brought up, and we can try to get your feedback on that. Another issue I would like to discuss is our changing revision of chapters to better serve pathologists. We're constantly reviewing the table of contents of each of the now 65 chapters to make sure that all the topics listed there are relevant to the needs of practicing pathologists. In the past, some of them were redundant, they overlapped. We'd have, for example, descriptions of soft tissue tumors at various sites that really overlapped with the big description in the soft tissue chapter. So we're eliminating some of these, unless there's a specific reason that we have two topics about the same entity, we're going to try not to do it. Also, as we're slimming down chapters, we are merging some chapters. We've recently merged, for example, the breast non-malignant and malignant. So if you go to the new chapter, which is titled simply breast, you can see that the first half is what used to be the non-malignant chapter, and then the second half is malignant. And I think it's easier to find things because some of the topics, such as WHO classification or grossing, really belong more to breast in general and they're not necessarily just malignant or non-malignant. I also want to point out a little bit about the chapter structure. Many of you are familiar with it. If you go to our homepage, scroll down a little bit, you see a list of all the chapters in alphabetical order. And then if you click on each chapter name, you get a table of contents. When you go to the table of contents, they almost all have a similar structure. The first half is topical. It's similar to what you'd find in a standard pathology textbook. So we'd start with some general topics, and then congenital and infectious and inflammatory and non-neoplastic, and then benign tumors and carcinomas and so on. And then that's followed by 3 superpages, and these are basically a cut and paste of all of the topics in alphabetical order. So if you want to see them all on one page, you can do that. So the first one is text and images, basically everything. And then we have a couple other ones that are a little more specific. One is for just images, and you could pick the images you want. So if you want to select all the liver images, liver non-tumor images, you can see them all on one page. and then one is for virtual slides. After the Superpages, you see a list of all the topics in the chapter in alphabetical order. And again, so this is just another way of finding things. Now, some people like to just use their search engine and type in the entity and then pathology outlines. Obviously, that can work for you too. That's great. We also have a Google search box in the upper right of the website, and you can feel free to use that too. And initially, it presents the topics with the search term in the name, and then it will go through and list every topic that has those words in it, even if it's part of a differential diagnosis or something that might not be so prominent. So it's now July, and we had scheduled many conferences to attend for this year, and they've all been canceled. And in fact, even the USCAP conference in March 2021 is now just virtual. So we really don't have the opportunity to meet you at least in person. So we're working on a strategy so that we can talk to as many of you as possible and get feedback. That's really an important aspect of our going to conferences, to find out what you like and don't like about the website. So we started with this chat with Nat, and we will probably be having some other chats. We'll be probably sending out some more very short surveys to try to get your input. It's important that we know. Of course, at any point, you can email me, nat@pathologyoutlines.com. You can click on the comment button in the header or footer and tell us what you think, what you like or don't like. Again, that's really what's made the website better. So for example, the whole idea of Superpages, that was a suggestion. We've had people who've told us that they don't like the organization of certain chapters. It's not intuitive. And so we've talked to our editorial board and we've come up with other ways of doing that. If you have an idea, don't be shy, let us know. And I read these ideas and I will get back to you. Two other ideas that we've had since we're not able to go to conferences. One is to have libraries from different vendors who want to get materials to you, particularly from some of the pharmaceutical companies. We currently have a library from Roche. If you click in the header or footer under libraries, and then there's a drop down. And right now I think we have one library, but we're probably going to be having more by the end of the year. And this gives them an opportunity to present all of their collateral, their flyers, their videos to you in a place where you'll see it. They could steer you to their website, but as many of you know, some of the corporate websites are hard to navigate, and we really make an effort to make sure that our website and our web pages, even if they're for advertisers, are easier to navigate, so you can find the information that you need. So it really benefits everyone. Another thing that we're thinking of is short educational videos by people on our editorial board or perhaps authors about topics of interest to you. So if there is something that you would like to know more about, it's confusing to you, or maybe people in your program or some of your friends would like more information, drop us a line. We will see what we can get done. Right now, we don't have the capability of offering CME for it. We'll check into that, and if it's possible, we'll try to add that too. One final change I want to talk about is improving the overall quality of the website and improving our operations. We currently have about 200 people writing for us. The numbers have gone up quite a bit with the COVID pandemic because pathologists have more time on their hands, at least some of them do. And so they're writing a lot, and we're able to put a lot more through, although our staff is still essentially the same. We did hire a format editor, and we may hire another person to work on the textbook, but we've still got a lot of stuff coming in. And so we've increased the standards on who can be a writer and the requirements for authors following our procedures. There are some pathologists who no doubt are great pathologists and perhaps are great writers too, but we just can't get them to follow our instructions. And we used to have a lot more tolerance for this, and we'd go back and forth 3-4 times, and now we just say we're dropping it. So, and I feel bad because we like everyone to participate, but we don't have the bandwidth. So we know it's not that our process is impossible to follow. Most people are able to follow it very well, but some people, they just have trouble for whatever reason. So that's one thing. So if you are an author, even if you've written for us in the past, please try to listen to what we tell you and be aware that we're no longer accepting every contribution. Now, sometimes we reject it because we just don't think the material meets our quality standards too. So those are some of the changes that are going on right now. I'm happy to respond to your questions or comments. Email me at nat@pathologyoutlines.com. Thank you very much, and until next time, we will see you at what's new at pathologyoutlines.com.